we can talk about free agents and veterans and grit, bottom six. This team, what people are really excited about is the potential to win a Stanley Cup based on their young core skill guys.
Not this year.
No, well, not this year, no, but that's what we're looking at. We're looking at progress, looking at how this group grows. We know that they've got Podkolzin coming in, maybe 2 more seasons, but Quinn Hughes is added to the mix of Pettersson, Besser, still include Horvat in there, and someone that not a lot of people talk about, Thatcher Demko, increased role this year. How are you seeing the young rookies, not rookies, young prospects?
Well, I mean, one rookie anyway. I mean, it's a lot to carry. I mean, Elias Pettersson's being looked at to be the number one guy. Last year we came in wondering what is he going to be, and now he's clearly the number one guy. I mean, Horvat had such a great season, despite the fact playing with the whole team basically at one point or another on his wing. He had such a good year, and now he's actually got what seems like a clear set of wingers that are going to line up with him and should be his wingers, you hope, the whole season. It's looking up for both those two centers. Quinn Hughes, obviously, as a young player, we know he's a great skater. We know he's got great vision. How quickly does he adjust to sort of full-time, the grind of it all? Every player that comes into the league, especially guys that come from college, talk about how much of a grind it gets to be, as you enter into the second half. And Brock Besser getting a whole season, starting the season healthy, getting a whole season to start with. I mean, we think healthy. I mean, maybe there might be lingering effects. There's no concussion, but, nervousness over the fact he was put into the glass so heavily. I think things are certainly looking up in terms of those guys, in terms of their top end skill players.
Ben, last year, the story, as Patrick mentioned, Elias Pettersson roaring out of the gate. Like, first game, people looking at this kid going, he's ready. If there was a concern, it was his size. He didn't back down, didn't look too small for the NHL, but absolutely seemed to wear out by the end of the season. Quinn Hughes coming in, obviously a different position, but a similar body type at least. Smaller player, smaller defenseman, but heavy on the skill. How do you expect him to make the adjustment to the NHL?
Yeah, I think Quinn Hughes is fascinating from the fact that he's a puck magician. And talking to him the other day, my question to him was, have you studied with, what did you make of your preseason? He says, I wanted to see what I could get away with. Because if you watch Quinn Hughes play, especially at the NCAA level, it was kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters when he played at Michigan, and we saw at the end of the year when he got into 3-on-3 overtime with Pettersson and Ben Besser. It was remarkable. So I think a lot of the preseason was predicated on how can he adjust all that talent to the NHL game. And there were several times in the preseason where you would see him and Travis Green at the bench in quite an animated conversation because of what Hughes was trying to do offensively and not giving up the defensive side. He looked like he was going to be a candidate to run PP1. It looks like it's going to be PP2 now because I think they want Edler in there. They want to hit the ground running. But I think Quinn Hughes is fascinating in the sense of what he can do in transition. And, you talk about playing with a guy like Tanev, who's probably an underrated defenseman when he's healthy. And Quinn Hughes talked a lot about that pairing and how Tanev looks after the defensive game. Quinn Hughes talks a lot about his defensive game and the fact that he's so good at the stick position, or at least getting his body in the way because of how well he skates. His edge work is great. I think he's a real wild card back there, and I do agree with Patrick. It is a better defense, but man, it's a work in progress. He's intriguing to me, and I'm going to throw another guy in there. I just want to talk a bit about Adam Gaudette because I think it's intriguing that the organization is doing this twofold. A, it's on merit. 6 points in 6 preseason games, 4 goals. He noticed him every time he was out there. Secondly, how does he get into the lineup? Well, I think there's all this kind of trickle-down effect is to Jake Virtanen, who looks like he's going to start on the third line on the right side with Sutter and Levo. How do you get Gaudette into the lineup? You move Sutter to the wing. You put Gaudette in the middle. That means I think Jake Virtanen's on a very short leash. I did not think he had a very good preseason. He had a great game in Calgary with the 2 goals. We know all the machinations, everything that happened in Victoria about his fitness level. So I think Gaudette's intriguing in that respect. And of course, Pettersson speaks for himself. Boy, the first time we talked to him this year, you could see how much thicker he is through the chest and the neck. He's stronger on the puck. I do agree, Paul. It's a great point. Time and space isn't going to suddenly appear for him this year. He scored on his first shot in his first game last year, had 10 goals in his first 10 games. I think what happens is better strength on the puck, better edge work. He's going to be able to find those open places more readily, and he's going to be able to hang on to the puck and make better plays. So it's not like he's bulked up. I just think he's so smart that he knew what he had to work on in the offseason to be stronger on the puck and find those open areas, and I think he will.
Patrick, if we, this time last year there were questions about Canucks goaltending.
Right.
And we saw those kind of answered. And there hasn't been a lot. I know Ben wrote a good piece for us on the weekend, which you can still find online. Thatcher Demko, he comes in, he's been heralded for the last 3-4 years. How much do you expect him to play? And how do you expect him to hold up if he's being given a significant workload?
I think it's sort of the traditional backup role. I think he's going to play 25 games, something like that. And, that means lots of games still for Jacob Markstrom. Jacob Markstrom, of course, being an older guy, I know we're talking about young players, but you can't talk about Demko without talking about Markstrom.
Yeah.
And Markstrom, did lots of good things in his game, had a fantastic season. Some people say possibly even top 5 in terms of his ability to make saves that, other goalies might not be making. He has a big sort of light over him. We have to see how he does. The Canucks really need him to be the player he was last year. Thatcher Demko, everything we saw wasn't a lot, but everything we saw is that this is a guy that's progressing well, that he's going to likely be a very good goalie in this league. And so for him to play, he needs to go in every night and do his best and give his team a chance to win, which hasn't always been the case, I think, in recent years with the backup goaltender. Andrew Nielsen was a good guy, but couldn't find a win most nights, and they're looking at Demko to be better than that.
All right, those are the expert opinions on what the Canuck rookies and prospects will look like this season. We all know they're going to have to actually make a leap, all of them, if this team is going to progress and hopefully win a Stanley Cup one day. So thanks, gents.